Hello and welcome everyone to the Friday, February 24th edition of the Contributor Comms subproject of SIG ContribEx. A reminder to everyone, we do operate under a code of conduct, which basically says to be respectful of your fellow speakers and fellow attendees, and generally be excellent to each other. So I've got our note stock up here. It should be in the chat as well. If you have any updates or big wins, go ahead and add those in. I see one item so far. We can come back to updates and big wins. So first item, someone asked, do we have any issue templates? The answer to that is yes. Let's see if I can find it.
So basically I asked, maybe I'll add a little bit more context to it. So
yes,
I mean, since it's also the task regarding the Zapier and so on. There are so many issues like sprawl across all the six. I closed a couple of them, but I just want to write a proper issue. We have some discussions I added in the comments, but I want to properly write a proper issue having what are the things to be done so that it follows a certain guideline. So that's what I want to ask, if we have some sort of issue template so that it covers all the things with respect to the issue. We can have a look.
Yeah, let me actually get signed into GitHub here, and then I'll actually be able to show you. Basically, in the community repo, I know that we do have an issue template. Some of the work that Hina was doing in that first item in our table was updating the issue template to make sure that it notified us when an issue was made for us. I'm not sure exactly where those live. SIG Contributor Comms request. If you try to create a new issue in K community.
Yeah, actually, so that's the variety. So I can, so the request, Slack request, so there are a couple of like 8 options I can choose. So that's what these templates are. So what I am really interested is like, so I mean, classical way, when we do an issue or like a story, we have a like acceptance criteria, what needs to be delivered, and so that's so detailed information we like pack it in a like issue. So such a kind of template do we have, because most of the issues are, let's say, user specific. It's not very general way. So I just want to know if we have, if Kubernetes follows a particular issue format that it needs to have this and this, and these other things needs to be in, I don't know what part of acceptance criteria or whatever way it is, and so on. Because I know the general way of adding what are the problems I have, but just want to have in that specific issue, what are the things it needs to be covered, and what needs to be like, let's say, the outcome of the issue. Let's say I foresee. Did I make any sense?
Some. I'm still trying to parse. What are you trying to achieve? What, like, give me an example workflow or something.
So for example, let's say, so so if you want to implement Zapier workflow, so it's clear that you need to have a Zapier workflow as major deliverable, and it needs to cover some cases like let's say we create an issue. Let's say the workflow it's creating, so Zapier should accept a GitHub issue. That's one of the thing, and then it should trigger once it accepts the issue. It verifies the tweet length. That's another criteria it should satisfy, and so on and so forth. So let's say what are the things it needs to, let's say, I mean, classical with this acceptance criteria stuff. What are the things it needs to go through so that the issue can be resolved? So there is a concrete way of weighting the issue so that, okay, if these points are accepted, the issues can be closed. Because normally we write an issue, there are so many problems we write, and I don't know which are the real solution which tries to solve. So I just want to write exact points, because I looked at the old existing workflow, existing mechanism where we use using the Twitter bot and so on. I just want to document this stuff in a concrete way, so that
Yep. I think as you can see from these, there's not really anything in particular that we put in that like the project needs. It seems to be pretty freeform. You can kind of do whatever you need to do.
Yeah. But it's same with also with like, let's say around the whole community itself. Like whenever someone writes the issue, the user thinks what are the things need to be done, and he writes it. That's it, right? So okay.
Pretty much, it seems to be. The one in K community and our one in the tweets repo are the two templates that I know about if you want examples, but as you can see, they're not. There's not a whole lot in them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's not much. Yeah. Okay.
Not much to go on.
Yeah. So I actually tried to grab through the whole repository looking for issue template. I couldn't find. So
yeah, I'm not sure where these live.
Yeah.
Are they in like the code?
You mean the contents?
The file that defines what
they're in a hidden directory somewhere.
Yeah. It's there. It's there's a file to save path, and it's
issue
saved
template.
somewhere.
There it is. Yeah. So
I'm still a little bit confused. Why do we need a issue? I mean, is there any automation that so you create a issue template and it satisfies all the condition, and then the automation triggers in Zapier? Is that what you mean to say?
I'm assuming that is the workflow you're trying to create, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Create an issue.
So I mean, I don't want to say about anything about the automation. This is not what I meant. Is like whenever we create an issue to work on, like we are working on Zapier solution. So I want to. So if you go to the issue, there is only one issue. So if you just click on that, maybe you'll have a detailed view that it covers a lot of stuff, but there is no concrete way of defining the issue should address, let's say, the 3 or 4 points. So I just want to get to that. But anyway,
are you thinking about for the tracking board?
Exactly.
For
the
tracking your work on the Zapier?
The tracking issue. Yeah. The tracking issue. I mean, not on the automation, but so the tracking issues should have some certain, template or certain, generalized way of understanding. So let's say it solves X, Y, Z, and so on. And that's the outcome we have. So I just want to.
There are some old examples that you can probably look at. A little bit of context on that. At one point, it was very, very common for everyone to have umbrella issues everywhere, all over the place. Like we had an issue for the SIG spotlights. But the issue with that is that they stick around forever, and sometimes they get updated, but sometimes they're quiet for a long time, and so they go stale, and so someone has to go in and make it unstale. They were also hard to edit with the changes to the state of the issue as it changed. So we used to do that format. We decided as a group to stop doing umbrella issues.
I see.
But that was years ago.
Okay. And actually that leads to something that I did, which is to open an issue for the SIG architecture spotlight article.
Which once upon a time that would have like connected to this umbrella issue theoretically, but in reality they don't really connect all that much. And I mean, we can use umbrella issues again. Like I said, that was years ago. We can always change our decisions. But so there's some context for you.
Okay, I got it. I think I can relate some pieces. It's not actually, I expect we don't have much, since I just want to understand if something within the Kubernetes community exists. So
I don't think there's a whole lot of guidance on that. It might be a good idea to ask in SIG ContribEx about if anyone else uses tracking boards and if they have tips on creating tracking issues. But we might be figuring it out on our own. As we usually do.
But I would be wary of depending on templates, because templates are a suggestion. So anyone, so when I get a template, often I just fill the things that I think are applicable, because otherwise, generally templates can be quite general. So I generally, there's a lot of stuff that goes not applicable, not applicable, not applicable. So if you're depending on a template for having some little automation there, you would have, so it's important to know that it could be that the person using the template deleted it for some reason. Maybe they didn't understand why it was needed, etc. Right?
Okay.
I think that is a good way to think about it. I've noticed that issue templates tend to be very light.
Like, yeah.
They give you a suggestion for what you kind of should put in there, but then you can really do whatever you want.
One thing
I think this is one of those cases where you make it up.
Yeah.
Federico?
Yeah, this is related to this, but also to other things. So as a follow-up to our conversation on boards, and this is linked with the idea of umbrella issues. And this is merely an experiment, because for SIG architecture specifically, for example, I know what didn't work, right? So now I've contacted the leads and said, well, I'm going to open an issue on this so that we can just see if this get any additional traction. So I did open an issue for it. Although I opened it, and this is, I think it's an important topic to discuss, I opened it on the contributor site repository. Maybe this, so maybe even if one uses umbrella issues, I think we should have a joint decision on where to open them, because maybe I should have opened it on the contributor, on the community site, or sorry, repository, or because you actually can close issues across repositories nowadays. So this is just, I'm thinking loud. If we end up using issues, it could be that we would need to determine if we want to open every single one of them in our own repository, or if some, specifically the ones that end up with being published, and specific for the blogging parts. Maybe this is specific for the blogging. Those are very linked with the contributor site, right? So that's why I opened it there, but just something to bear in mind.
Yeah. So the issue really is like considering where does the issue go when you create a blog? Does it go into the site that is going to be going into, or do we track it on our own? Or,
Exactly.
Yeah. Own repo, do we put it in?
Because the PR obviously is, it's on the, it will be on the specific repository, obviously, because right. But the issue, maybe, for example, the people on, I opened it on the contributor site. Maybe I will get an angry email today from someone saying that they don't like that kind of issues, to which I will reply with no problem, or not. So we could have the issues on our own site for our own tracking, and then have the PRs close them across repositories.
I like your ask for forgiveness, not permission approach.
No, yeah, that's true. That's true. But I think it's knowing the community. I think it's not an issue. Well, it is an issue actually, but it's not a problem. Because
this is one of my big problems with using bug trackers for tracking work.
Yeah, true. Worst case scenario, I close it, and I think I did it in order to measure how helpful it is and what problems currently with the current tools and the current community that we have, what advantages and disadvantages it brings to the table. I think after 1 month of this, maybe we will have a better. We will be at a better place to answer some of this. Should we put it here or there? Is it useful? It isn't useful. So it's more of an experiment than anything else.
That's the case for the whole tracking board concept. It'll have its challenges, and we just got to figure out if we like them well enough.
Exactly.
Yeah, good work. I'm glad that you're exploring ideas here, because that's what we need to do.
Just a question before we move on. So just if
yes,
I got
please.
it right, so we can I mean, I myself can also add the issues. I mean, add it to the tracking board, right?
Yeah, well, I've actually added a comment in our Slack channel about that. I would like you to at least to try or to add it or something, because I'm not sure on the permissions.
Exactly. So that's what I tried after you posted, so I couldn't. I get 404. Maybe invalid. Maybe you need.
But if you can't, you should be. And if you find a problem, please tell me in the channel, and we can work through it. Okay, because the idea is exactly that. This is not to be a bottleneck. Ideally, we would have automatic visibility of stuff, because we would have some kind of label that would be specific to SIG ContribEx comms. That would be the ideal scenario. Close enough for me, because I think that sometimes automation is useful when you have a lot of stuff, but if you shouldn't be like this main goal. We can use it with a manual step, which is we search for it and add it. This allows to search across repositories within the Kubernetes organization. So we can in the project board, if you go at the current state of it, I've added the SIG architecture spotlight, which is living on a different repository, and we have things there from different repositories. Let me put the link here.
You can also see a little bit of how we used the Kanban board in the past from our old one. Oh, I bet we could find the SIG, the like umbrella issue I was talking about for the SIG spotlights.
Yeah,
I bet that's tracked in here somewhere.
Yeah, but I'm with you on one thing, obviously, here, which is this is a tool, and you end up either using it or using something else, depending on the advantages that it brings to the table. Even individual preferences play a role here, because some people like to have this view, others prefer to have something else. But there's no actually time lost in actually trying, so why not, right?
Yeah, and as you were mentioning, the issues aren't the only way to track things. You can also just put a note in the board, which is separate from an issue, right?
Completely. Like it's a draft. You just end there, and it lives only within the project board itself. It's like almost like metadata, although you can with a click convert it into an issue. But that's good, because it doesn't limit us to things that live in GitHub. We can, and if you go into the current stage of the board, you will see that a lot of the SIG spotlight ideas are not issues. For example, a simple workflow.
Sorry, this is the old board. But yeah,
this is a simple workflow could be. Actually, I don't think that's the new one.
Yeah, this is the old one still. Never mind. Where is the new one?
I've sent you the link to the in the chat.
Yeah, we'll just do that. Oh no, that's not, did not paste the right thing. Come on, copy paste. Here we go. Right? Yes.
Yeah.
There we go.
So everything that you see as a draft there exists only within the board, so it's not tied to any issue. Although you can you can automatically create an issue from it. So I can see a workflow around having ideas which are not even signed yet as drafts, then someone moves forward and says, well, I will do it. We could create an issue out of it automatically and assign that person to it. And then it would be closed when whatever it's done is done. Or you can just keep the draft and use it as a note throughout the entire life cycle, because there's no actual benefit of creating anything more substantial in terms of an actual issue object in GitHub. That's the old one again, right?
Yeah, sorry. I was
okay.
realizing that there are actually two old boards.
So
there's this one, and then there's a link down here to a separate one. This was always one of the questions for us, because we had two boards before, because there's the editorial board and then there's the tasks board. Yeah. So we had two boards in the past, and that was very confusing for us. Apologies. I was just realizing.
No, it's like that. This is like the Matrix. We are on the third interaction of the simulation, right? So
yeah.
But again, we don't need to. I have no expectations that this one will work as long as it moves us. During the process, if we can get more work done with it just because we're exploring it, I think it will. It's fine, even if we end up dropping it at the end. For now, you see that the SIG architecture one, Spotlight one, is actually an issue on the contributor sites, which is there. And that's it. Any other work that we're doing could be also in here. Obviously, the status names to do, in progress, ready for review. We can add stuff there or change things that exist. I've kept it as per our previous discussion. I've kept them general in order to avoid making this a blogging only scope, because this the idea is to use this for other tasks as well, for everything ideally. So the more generic we are with the status, the more accommodating we are for all purposes.
Indeed. And one of our reasons for exploring this is prioritization, because our current tooling can't do that. I feel like that's an overstatement, but cool. Other questions, comments, discussion around the tracking board? One of our tasks from last time was for the leads to, outside of the meeting, go ahead and start populating the board with their items. So I know that I didn't do work on that. I need to put something in there. I need to put the KubeCon tweets in there, but maybe we should try that right now. Should we try it live and see what happens?
Yeah, sure.
Just try adding an item, because I don't think I need an issue to track that.
Yeah. Start typing to create a draft. So
23. Tweet planning. I want to grab the link for that. You've got any tweets? There it is. Copy the link. And there it is.
Okay, so it's apparently doesn't need any tweaking, at least for you.
For me.
But yeah, but you have like the sudo powers here, so it's.
You upset, kitty cat? Hopefully she's fine. Yeah, so I've got that draft there, and we'll work on that more later. It should be in progress, but it's not in progress, so it's in the correct place. Cool. So team leads, folks who are working on something and you don't see it in the board and you would like to see it in the board, please do go ahead and put things in the board.
And if there's any issue with it, just add. I can create a threads in our Slack channel just to tackle permissions and stuff like that.
Yeah, that'd be good, so that folks have a good place to share their issues.
Yeah.
Cool. So then we should probably go over stuff on the board, but before we do that, there's one more item in new items. Avinash.
Yeah, so last week or maybe before, comms team was tagged in a thread where they needed some help with editing in the blog. So it's like, as I'm seeing it, this document is for newbies, and they can, it's a good document. So maybe comms can help with the editing thing. You have a blog, Federico can take it, or maybe anybody can take it. So I just wanted to point it out.
Federico, this is in your realm to delegate. We should probably add it to the board.
I was exchanging devices because I need to pass this to my mobile. So I've lost 5 seconds of Avinash.
No worries. There's a blog post in the notes that you've probably seen.
Yeah.
So it is in your realm to delegate how we get that editing done, if you would like to.
No, perfect. Okay. Yeah. No, absolutely. So
cool.
It's on, already in a doc format. So who is the author? Is I missed that part. Is it?
She's Ella.
Ella Dewberry.
Perfect. So what, Avinash? What is? And you have you already reviewed it, or?
Just noticed the request come in.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. So yeah. First of all, does anyone want to? Do you want to continue with the process, for example, of reviewing, etc.? Because otherwise, for me, the process is like this. We will look into it, make an initial set of comments around the content that we do have over there. Then we either pass it through HackMD or just to Markdown and create an issue with the co-authored stuff. I can create the issue and add the author as co-author because that counts, and this is aligned with the stuff that we have decided before. And then we will get the second round of comments, which is more around the formatting and stuff like that. So I will, even before that, I think that's I will give a heads up to Tim and others on the SIG docs review, because they generally want to have their review there as well, and the sooner they do it, the better.
So there is a thread going on, and Tim and Josh have been in talk with her. So I'll just tag you there. So if you have some comments, you can pass on there.
Thank you for that. I will pick it up today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
Is this planned to go on the blog or the contributor blog? Seems like a contributor story.
Yeah. So Josh has said that it is a good if we can have it as a MOC, Meta Contributor blog.
For the contributor site, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Your plan sounds great to me, Federico.
Yeah, I'll take a look.
Already more structured than we really had before.
No, it's just following that bullet list that we made a couple of weeks ago, right? So it's fine. I will pick it up, and I'll keep everyone informed in the Slack channel so that anyone can drop in at any time and review also, etc.
And if you would like to assign that work to someone, that is within your power as blogging lead to do.
Yeah, true. But that's why I asked if someone has any direct interest in it, because otherwise I feel like I would be saddling people with things that they don't want to do. And I know that it's hard to volunteer time. Volunteering to do stuff that is
volunteering people to do stuff is also
exactly. Yeah. True,
have you brought me your string, kitty cat? You want me to play with the string with you? If you hear the cat meowing, that is what's happening.
So, but thank you for that, Avinash. I was completely unaware of this, and I think this is I need to have a look.
Yeah, and also after listening to the process, I'm kind of interested in reviewing, so maybe I'll help you out with it.
Okay, excellent. I'll follow this up with you. Okay.
Sure.
Sounds like we got a plan, and I love it. All right.
Okay. Now I need to change devices, so I'll have 1 minute of silence there. Okay.
Sounds good. All right. So that's all that we have right now in the notes for new items and updates, big wins. Granted, Federico is changing devices. But is there anything that folks want to talk about in the board, which we should start shifting to instead of the table theoretically, though we can still use both? It's whatever works for folks. That's what we're all about here. Cool. So in the board, we had some SIG spotlights that are to-dos. I added the tweet planning. We've got a couple of spotlights, a couple of spotlights in progress. One of these does have an issue with it. The SIG architecture one, it looks like. Oh no, that is just it has an issue with it. Haha, and if you click it, it brings it up. Very cool. So Federico was mentioning this one. It's assigned. Labels cannot be supported. Because it's in contributor site. Cool. So this is what Federico was talking about. He opened this issue in the contributor site to track that one issue. And there is also this draft blog post, which we keep trying to push on, I think. Yes. So we might as well look at that now, since it is in here and not just in the table. Meha updated 2 weeks ago that she was going to work on it, and I haven't seen anything since. So I'm just going to leave that be for today. And Imran, looks like you added one on the Zapier automation so far.
Yes.
Cool. So that's what we've got in the tracking board, which exists now, which is weird to say. If you have any items that you want to add to the tracking board, do go ahead and try it. And if you have issues, let us know so that we can start using that. Cool. So from there, let's go on ahead into the table. Up to the top. So the first item here, automatically add a comment tagging GitHub comms team whenever a label is applied. This is deprioritized. But yeah, some more information about issue templates and stuff in that work, which has 4 links on it already.
So I have a thing for that.
Yes,
I believe
please.
this problem now doesn't require a template or something like that, because I think we can solve this by Zapier automation itself. Like for now, we are thinking of doing something similar, but more advanced in case of tweets. So we can just have a very basic check of labels if it is contributor comms. And then based on that, we can ask the bot to tag the team or something like that.
Yeah, we do still need to do that work. And also, like for our issue template in the community repo, like people can theoretically, not that they do, but theoretically people can make requests of our team there. And if someone did actually use that workflow, we would want to know about it, especially because no one ever uses that workflow. So we would probably miss it. So even beyond the Zapier considerations, when there's an issue that we should know about in GitHub, we want to keep thinking about making sure that we'll know what's going on. But that is a good point, that the Zapier stuff will have its own automation integrated with it, which should reduce the need for this to some degree.
Would it make sense to have a spotlight on SIG ContribEx? Because maybe,
of course,
yeah, right.
No one's ever done that.
Maybe the one step that we need to do is to make sure that more people know that we do actually exist and are open to receive requests about stuff that needs to be done, or at least analyze it and let it go. So maybe that's a good idea as well, to see if we
Absolutely.
can expand the external knowledge of what we have to offer.
That is one of the SIGs that exists within Kubernetes, so we deserve a spotlight too. I think that's a great idea. Let's add it to the board. Where is that? Nope.
Yeah, it's easy, and it makes you think that you've actually already done something, so that
well, that's dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. We get the endorphins without the actual work, so it's great.
Yep. So we've got that in our to-do list on the board. We'll talk about that more another time. Cool. So let's move on in the table. Blogging process updates. We've already talked quite a bit about restarting the Kanban board. Anytime folks want to discuss that, please bring it up. We've got to talk about it a lot in order to make it work. Like a fine wine, we need to mush the grapes and ferment them or whatever. I don't know how to make wine. Moving on, updating the owner's files. This is almost done, except for that one that I still need to update. It was on my list to do yesterday, and I just didn't get around to it. Not that it's particularly complicated. It's the old one. It's not particularly complicated for me to update the PR that I have, but it just takes mental effort to go in there and find it and decide how I want to recreate it. If I just want to, I think I'm probably just going to delete it and like recreate the PR. Because I don't feel like dealing with additional commits and squash and all of that stuff. So that's something I still need to do, which I don't need to spend that much time on. SIGs.yaml needs a upstream marketing text update. So Jay, I think that you did this, right? I think it's updated already.
No, I guess.
Ooh, were you talking? You were kind of quiet. Looks like there's still an upstream marketing mention in here, but I know that you had a PR. If you could find the link to the PR. Can I find that link?
I opened the PR.
Yeah, I thought so. Sorry, I think I failed on that once again.
No issue.
This is a common occurrence, and this is why we have a team. Please help me help you. I am bad at it sometimes. Most of the time. So here I think is the PR. Let's link that, throw that link. Haven't even checked it yet, but I'm going to throw it into the chat. Let's see if that was right. Yay, looks right. I LGTM'd it.
But then I pushed some more
And
changes.
then we made a change, right? Yep.
Yeah.
Nitpick fix from Nabaroon. That's very nice of him. Thank you, Nabaroon. I don't think you even did that. It was just kind of there, but while we're at it, might as well fix some additional things. Cool. So let's look at the current state, and maybe I'll just go ahead and slap an approve on there. Wow, look at this. So many so many little misspellings in here. And that's the one that we cared about. Upstream marketing, contributor comms, another one right there, and another one right there. Excellent. Thank you so much for doing this. Clearly it was very needed. And that was just 2 days ago that Nabarun mentioned it. So probably good that we waited this long. I'm going to try slapping an approve on here. What thing is this in? This is in community. Do I have permission to do that? I don't know. We're going to find out right now. Cool. And that takes a little bit for it to pick up. So I'm going to leave that and we'll come back to it. Awesome. Thank you, Sujay, for putting up that PR. Like I said, clearly very needed. Next item, welcome to ping in about anything there. Update upstream marketing contributor. There I go. Update the upstream contributor comms GitHub team upstream. Why do I have that word there? I'm just ruining things for myself. Yes, so we still need to update the contributor comms team. We haven't actually done that yet. Apologies about that. Not that we use the GitHub team very much anyway. So I don't think it's generally a big deal. The owner's files were the bigger deal, which we mostly have fixed. We still need to fix it on the contributor tweets thing, which is probably pretty important for you right now, Imran. I guess you're still exploring the Zapier stuff, but you will need that imminently. So I need to make sure to get that done today, which I was going to fix yesterday, but I will do it today. Next item, Slackbot's still broken. This is deprioritized, so we'll skip. Update repo with role descriptions. We're all good there. If folks want to create a new role or update a role, just let us know anytime. Contributor site. This is prioritized below Zapier, but there is a new contributor workshop on the contributor site now. So that's exciting. They said that they didn't want it to be promoted just yet for some reason that I don't remember. This was in the SIG ContribEx meeting. We were talking about it.
So is it
yes,
going to be a
please.
part of the KubeCon? Is it planned in the KubeCon?
No. So we've stopped doing the new contributor workshop in person at KubeCons or virtually at KubeCons because we weren't seeing very good
that's
I don't know
outcome
if turnover
or,
is the right word, but conversion from attendees to contributors. So they wanted to just make it something that's online. You can do it anytime kind of thing. So here it is. It's on cadence.dev/course is how I got to it. It looks like onboarding would also work. I'll just put this link in the chat. That is the right one. Okay, good. So this does exist now, but we're waiting for something that I don't remember to actually talk about it. So there's not imminent work needed right this second, but FYI that we will need to promote that soon. Let me see if I can check real quick on what the criteria was for that. I guess that's an update/new item that I should have mentioned in the notes.
Yeah, I didn't knew about this for until 2 weeks. I was not aware of this, but the PR got closed 2 weeks back, so that's good.
Oh, nice.
So I can close this one as well.
Wait to tweet share broadly until GitHub code spaces is integrated. Yeah, they want to integrate GitHub code spaces into the curriculum. Make sure that folks who are going through the curriculum can use GitHub code spaces to perform the activities that are mentioned in it. So that is what we are waiting on for that. But just so you know, it does exist. Cool. Next item, SIG Spotlight. Sujay, are you... This is in the board. I should be able to do this from the board, but I guess that's one note on something that's missing from the board right now.
Yeah, so I have an update on that. I talked with the chairs of SIG networking, and there we have 2 new chairs. I mean, the new chairs are probably Shane and Michael, and I'm planning to share
they just
the
switched chairs.
Yeah.
I see.
Michael is not official yet, but yeah. So the
Okay.
doc, I have prepared a doc and will share it maybe today or tomorrow.
Sounds good. Should be an interesting interview for it to be a new chair.
Yeah.
Probably has its benefits. Cool. And then the CAP Reading Club one. Do you have any updates on that, Federico, if you're still around? He's offline right now. Cool. We already talked through the board and everything though. So I think we should move SIG networking to in progress. Don't you think, Sujay?
Yeah, sure.
There's not an issue for it, but you are in the process of
Yeah, not yet.
yeah. Here's a limitation of the board. So I moved that to in progress. But how do I assign it to you? See, this one isn't an issue.
Probably for that, I need to be a Kubernetes member, which I'm not stable
I don't
with.
think there's a way to do it on here. Like if you look at this one or any of them, there's not like a add an assignee thing because it's not
No,
an
if
issue.
you,
Oh, okay, assignees.
yeah, you
there
can
it
edit.
is.
Yeah, so you can
Yeah.
edit them. Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
I think I could do that. What is your GitHub name, Sujay?
SD-13 in caps.
13.
In caps.
Are the caps important? No? Oh, this is this status or is this
Only for
assignees? It is
member, I
assignees.
guess. Frederick mentioned.
Yeah, maybe it is. Yeah. Okay. I think we did talk about that. You're right. All right. We need to work on that. Do you have your issue open for that yet? Or you're waiting for the other one to go in? You don't have to have the issues like completed to file for org membership, I don't think. Also,
once
we're kind
the
of loose on the
PR
two
is
things.
merged, I can file an issue. I file an PR for that.
I don't know that you need to wait for it to be merged, but
So what do
we'll
you
fix that
suggest?
soon though. I wonder if I can add that as a note though on that. Keep losing it. If I click on this. Aha.
While you are adding that, is the CAP reading club one assigned to someone? Is Federico working on that?
Yes.
Oh, that's fine.
You could reach out to him about it if you were interested in helping out with it. I'm sure there are things that you could do to help.
Yep.
I am very interested to read it. Cool. So I don't have any notes about that right now. Added SIG networking. Sujay. To the board. Cool. Thank you, Sujay, for giving us that opportunity to test out the board. Cool. So I'll move on from SIG spotlights unless folks have anything else they want to talk about there. We've only got 6 minutes left, so.
May I?
Yes, please.
So I have completed working on the questions part of the SIG CLI Spotlight. I just need to talk to Cheers about that.
Wonderful.
But the problem is I have no option of adding that in the board. Maybe because I am not a member.
Okay. So that doesn't work for you. Could you ping in our Slack, just add a note saying that you can't update the board, and then we'll triage exactly why that is to make sure that we know.
Should I ping you or in the ContribEx channel?
Do it in the ContribEx comms. Are you in there? SIG ContribEx comms channel? Cool.
Yep,
you
I'm in
might
there.
do it as a reply to Frederico's last comment. Yeah, as long as it's in there, that'll help us track it. And you said that was on SIG CLI. I don't see that in here right now. So it's in progress, right? You said you created the interview, or did you send the interview?
No, I have figured out the questions, and I just need to talk to the chairs about scheduling the interview.
Perfect. Sounds good. Are you planning to do like an in-person interview, or are you going to do the doc thing? Have we talked
I
about that?
haven't decided that yet. Maybe I should ask the chair about his preference.
So our advice on that is that if you do a recorded interview, like a over Zoom or something, those are much harder to convert into a blog post than if you do it in like a Google Doc. So we had one that got stuck for months just because we had the recording, but it took so much initialization energy to actually go through the recording and turn it into text. So our recommendation is to use a doc and do it asynchronously for that reason, but you can do whatever you want. We're not the police. So SIG CLI Spotlight, I'm adding it directly to, do we want to add it to do? Since you're just contacting them, add it to do right now. Added to do. That is hard to say. And Arpit, are you an org member?
No, I am not yet the org member. Maybe there's some kinds of requirements like minimum PRs, and I need not permissions, but I need some kind of recognition from some of the reviewers in the Kate's community. So
Yep,
I'm contributing.
count.
Let's see when it
Lots
happens.
of us count. Yeah. Actually, I don't know what you have to be in order to do that, but I think just another org member. Do you have to be a leader in the community? It's better to have leaders in the community. Chris and I can certainly help. But yes, so let's keep an eye on that when you feel comfortable going for org membership. If you feel like you need more PRs, let us know. We'll find some little things for you to fix up. Cool. So I've added that to the board as well. Yay. Big spotlights in progress. We only have 2 minutes left. Are we okay moving on? Is there other SIG spotlights that we're missing tracking on? No? Okay. There are, just let us know. I'm going to quickly run through these last ones. I don't think there's anything that needs major work. GitHub code spaces, as we said, we need to keep an eye on that for the course content anyway. GitHub tweets, that is kind of the main priority, but in the Zapier sense. This blog, we already looked at that. Keep track of SIGDocs blog subproject process changes, nothing in particular there probably. Security comms guidelines, maybe someday we'll do that. We should add that to the board as like a pie in the sky. Someday we'll do that. Scheduling tweets for non-contributor comm members, that is the Zapier thing. Add Chris Short's notes. Chris's short notes. Haha. His last name is short too, and but we're not using it that way. Funny. Chris had some notes about administration of the subproject that he wanted to make sure that we added into the subproject lead role or something somewhere. So those exist. Mark wanted to look into the idea of creating a contributor podcast. That's going to be a slow burn, trying to figure out if that's a good idea, and if so, how we would implement it. This is a cool idea, but we'll probably never do it realistically, but let's keep it in mind. And deprecating this table. We're still working on that. And it's 9 a.m. for me. So that means that the meeting should be over.
On time.
We kind of made it through. It's basically on time. Cool. If folks can stick around for another minute, any last minute items before I stop the recording? All right. Sounds like we're good to go then. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining today. and I will stop the recording.
Thank you. Have a nice weekend. Bye.